All right, Mom. So I did ask for people to send you some type of topics or questions that they had to ask you. And we actually got two of them. They're somewhat similar, so I'm going to read them to you. The first one is from Chanel McQueen. And she said, I just wanted to thank you for your video. It was very informative and funny. I can see that Kevin didn't fall far from the tree. You seem very proud of your son, and as an openly gay male, I was wondering if you were very supportive of his sexuality when he was growing up. My parents weren't, and it says, and I wanted to know your thoughts on parents who don't support their children because of who they happen to love. And the next one comes from, I hope I'm saying this right, Ja-1. He says, I'd like for you to discuss the topic of how parents should and shouldn't accept their children's sexuality, lesbian, gay, and transgender.
First of all, we didn't have no idea that he was gay. He had no inclinations of it when he was a little boy or teenager coming up. It didn't show up until several years ago. And when it did, I'm going to tell you, I thought somebody was playing a joke on me. Shit. How do you change seems like how you change overnight. Or just change all of a sudden to be somebody else. He wasn't strutting, and he wasn't wearing no lipstick, he wasn't wearing no wigs and no bracelets or nothing like that. He just got quiet all of a sudden on me. You know, and when I realized that's what it was, I didn't necessarily like it. I wanted to be like everybody else. What do you call it? Heterosexual. I wanted him to be like everybody else. He was my son. And when I realized what it was, I'm going to tell you, it was like somebody had hit me in the head. And that's no lie. Then I thought about it. Now, I either had two choices. Now, I could either hate this motherfucker for being my son and not be in the way that I wanted him to be. Straight man on the pole. Or I just could accept him for what he was. And when you get my age, you see a lot of shit in life. You see a lot of people wishing they had a family, wanting to have a family, or why they don't have a family. And one thing I really learned is that you can't choose your family members. Most people have a drunk in their family somewhere, or somebody who's an alcoholic.
We got a couple.
And people who's jailbirds. Or, you know, somebody that's always doing something. That's what makes a family a family. And he's mine. I couldn't stop loving him because he turned to be something else. You know, he's mine. He's always going to be mine. I'm going to always be his mother. And he's going to always be my son. Now, either I take it as the Lord dished it out to me, or don't speak to him no more. And how could I do that to him? How could I say he died? How could I say I don't want to see him ever again in life? And he's such a part of me. You know? Everybody always told me I always act mannish myself. You know, but hey, I didn't think so. I thought I was quite feminine.
Wow.
But you never know. But, no, I couldn't do that. I couldn't turn him loose because of what other people thought or how other people may feel about it. It's not important what other people think. What's important is how I think, how I felt about it, what it did to me. I thought, oh my God, not me. What is this, a joke? Somebody playing a damn joke on me? I'm not the one. You know? Who are you talking about, Kitty? Oh, the black one, Lord.
We get visitors frequently.
Yeah, trying to get back in. But
Well, the other person did ask about what about parents who don't know what to do or who basically disown their kids because of this.
well, I feel sorry for them because all that love could be theirs to have, all because they're scared of what somebody else might say, what other people might do. Either you love them or you don't. For me and him to have that connection, every mother has a connection with her child if she is a mother, because every mother's not a mother. Just because you have a baby don't mean you're a mother. Some mothers are close to their children, and some are not. Well, he'll be mine to the day he died, and I'll be his mother to the day I die.
Me too, right?
And I can't give him up because of what somebody else might say. Or he's in another phase of life that I never thought of. I never thought about going out and being a lesbian. You know, I raised my kids basically by myself. A lot of people said I was because I was by myself. Oh, she's a lesbian. Because they didn't see me with Tom, Dick, Harry, Joe, and Bill. You know, and I didn't feel that was necessary to raise my kids. I had a good family structure of how to raise a child. And not that I wanted to do it that way, but that's where it seemed like it happened. You know, and when I found out this was the way it was dealt to me, this is the way it was going to be, I didn't say I went out there and rang the bells and jumped up and down and tambourines and everything. And I realized this was the way it was going to be. Now either I was going to hate him or love him. You know, and I decided I would rather love him than hate him. I would rather have him around me. I could still find out what is he doing and what's going on in his life. You know, I knew I wasn't going to have to worry about him wearing no high heels because his legs is ugly as hell. You know, or wearing a dress. Now.
But what about people who do wear it? Is it okay for them if that's what they like?
If that's what they like, yes. Because some people have an uncontrollable urge that they have to answer. They have to answer to that calling. You know, they're so frightened of what you might think, or what you might think, or what somebody else might think. How their world might be, and then their world might not be that hard if they would just go on and get it over with. Go on and get it over with. So Aunt Betsy knows. So Aunt Molly knows. Richard or George or whoever the fuck else knows. They suspected it any damn way. So you only answer to what they suspected for years. You know, but to always live in that fear of somebody suspecting you of something because the world is supposed to be heterosexual. You know, it don't always happen that way for everybody. Sometimes it's very difficult for other people who live in the world of they feel like they have to look like a woman. Who get their body changed a little bit at a time when they can afford to get it changed. It's very, very hard for them. And it's very hard for people who live this life. You live this life, you live the life of being persecuted, like people saying things to you, throwing things at you, and looking at you, smirking and sneering and carrying on. I couldn't do that to my son. And I hope nobody else does it to theirs. Just accept it. And if you can't accept it, go ahead on about your business. Leave them alone. And don't make it no worse than what it really could be, because being by yourself, having no family, nobody to love you. Everybody needs to be loved, even God himself. God desires that more than anything, to be loved. And to be here for no one to love you or no one to want you because you don't do things the way they want you to do it, that's horrible. That's a horrible life. But sometimes you can't help it. You know, you can't help the way you dress. I've I've seen the RuPaul show.
Love it.
And I think, woo, they are fabulous. They dress better than me. I know I can't make myself look like that. And this is their version of what a woman should look like. Ray. That's what I say. And there is so many versions of human beings in this world to keep life from being boring. You just have to accept some things in life as they are. You know, maybe nobody else don't want to accept it, but if you do, it'll make life a little sweeter for you. It'll make life a little easier for your son, or a little easier for your daughter, or for whoever. Just love them for who they are. If they call you mama and they hug and love and kiss on you, and can give you a glass of water when you need it, love them for who they are, not what you want them to be.